Well, hello my friends, it's your old pal Jordan the Lion and your old pal Breck, and we're coming to you from Waco today, and I have no idea what I should vlog today. Any suggestions? Daze with Jordan the Lion begins now. That's right my friends, this is no accident. I am excited to be here because for one thing, I love sports. I love a lot of people from Texas that played sports, and one in particular has his museum inside of here. One of the greatest pitchers of all time. He was a big star when I was growing up. I loved this guy. Nolan Ryan has closed down his museum and they put it here inside the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. So I said, you know, I know there will be a lot of great people in here. We got to check it out, but we got to see the Nolan Ryan stuff. Wow, look at all the memorabilia here. Right away I noticed this. We've got a 1952 Olympic Games participation number. Now this showcase is kind of cool because this shows the old Houston Colt 45s. A lot of you may know them as the Astros now. There's a 1963 road jersey. Yeah, look at those jerseys. Can you imagine little kids going to the ballpark wearing those jerseys now? They look pretty cool though, don't they? So here we have the 2019 inductees. I see right away Jason Witten from the Cowboys, Andre Johnson, Tony Franklin. Oh, check this out. Look at that. Ricky Williams. That's one of the coolest, in my opinion, one of the coolest 30 for 30s that you can watch. I guess not cool, but it's just really interesting. The guy basically, you know, was a star athlete who just decided at various times he kind of pulled Dave Chappelle's where he'd just go, you know, I'd rather smoke weed than play, or he just decided he was going to move all the way into some remote island and disappear for no real reason, gave really no one any kind of explanation. Just kind of an interesting story to follow. Never really any explanation for a lot of it. He was a great player though. There's his Heisman Trophy candidate photo. And check out this Rose Bowl jacket. Pasadena Rose Bowl from 1956. That old Baylor jacket. This is kind of interesting too. They have buttons underneath all of the logos for the teams here, and it plays the school songs. Let's see what the University of North Texas sounds like. And here we have an actual Heisman Trophy from 1938, Davy O'Brien's Heisman Trophy Award. So here we have some notable college football players, and I'm looking around, I see Billy Sims, I'm like, that's pretty cool. Then I notice over here, this photo is Bubba Smith. Bubba Smith was Hightower from Police Academy, and he's also in that really famous Married with Children where Al has to take him on too tall one more time to see if he can score that touchdown. So they have a photo of him when he played for the Colts. Well, it looks like it's a football card. There's the famous Gene Stallings coat from Alabama. And then that's also his Crimson Tide stopwatch. So this is cool. Here we have Troy Aikman. That was kind of a no-brainer. Those phenomenal Dallas Cowboy years of the 90s. Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin. Even at some point, Deion Sanders. It's kind of cool to see his helmet, his cleats, his Wheaties box with a hologram of him on it. One of his team-issued helmets. Great quarterback. That was a dynasty. Now this one's kind of great because right away I see LaDainian Tomlinson, which is kind of cool to see because he was Mr. Charger for years. It was a real shock when he ended up not finishing his career. Well, everybody thought he would just be a career Charger, and then he went to another team. Some of his cleats. Everybody loved him, man. And there we have Houston Oiler Ray Childress's gloves. There's his signed jersey. And then those were Minnesota Viking John Randall shoulder pads. And Jacob Green's Seattle Seahawks helmet. Oh wow, what another great case. Right away I see Drew Brees. One of the greatest quarterbacks. I mean, I think that's pretty hard to dispute. Then you've got A.J. Halhoub's Kansas City Chiefs helmet. Bill Bradley's cleats. Tim Brown from the Raiders cleats. Then over here we have the great Mean Joe Green's jersey. Dude, that's seen somewhere. Look up on the shoulders of it. You can see how torn up it is. Then over here in this case, the great Earl Campbell. And an absolutely destroyed helmet. Look at that, man. Look at all the paint. I saw this case and it immediately made me look over and see Clyde the Glide right here. And I said, I wonder if they have anything Phi Slamma Jamma. So we'll keep our eye out for that. And then those are Rudy Tomjanovich shoes. And another David Robinson jersey. Larry Johnson, Grandmama. Now this is dedicated to the Olympics. And right away underneath that javelin, you see George Foreman, boxer, 1968 Olympics. Easily won the gold medal. So here's a case dedicated to baseball great Eddie Matthews. I actually went to his grave in Santa Barbara. If you ever want to see that one. There's his baseball bat. So now we're trying to work our way into the tribute room. That's where they have all of the Nolan Ryan stuff. Oh, here's a rodeo display. You won't get that in your average California museum. Mention of Tris Speaker. We just did a vlog on him the other day. And here's a 1920 baseball signed by Tris. Then on the cover of that magazine is Lance Berkman, and you have his baseball glove here. He was a great baseball player. I kid you not, his nickname when he played was Fat Elvis. Here's some of Bert Hooton's memorabilia. And this whole display case is all the Rocket Roger Clemens. His glove, his ball. That's sad because he would have been one of the greats no matter what. He was just a phenomenal pitcher, and then his entire legacy has been tainted by the steroid era. Yeah, you can see right there, Cy 5. Yeah, guy won a lot of Cy Young awards. When I was growing up, that was the Rocket Man. Here we have a full uniform from one of the greatest baseball players of all time. They called him the National League's answer to Babe Ruth, Rogers Hornsby. Another baseball player that my grandpa used to tell me about. This was his old timers reunion uniform from the 1940s. And then this is all Tris Speaker, one of his original Cleveland jerseys. This Astros jersey over here belonged to the great Craig Biggio. And that's Houston Astro great Jeff Bagwell's bat and signed baseball. And I knew they wouldn't forget Tom Landry. They named the theater after Tom Landry. So I've never heard of this guy, but this display is amazing. Lou Jenkins, they've got his boxing robe. They've got his boxing gloves. His championship belt. His world welterweight belt. And even his trunks, his shoes, and some old gloves. And that's the great Jack Johnson. Breck, if it's cool with you, we're gonna blow past the NASCAR stuff.
No, that's probably fine.
I don't know much about it. And the golf stuff. Where's Nolan Ryan? Look at that license plate. Newt Rockney. Win one for the Gipper. And look at this Longhorns Western shirt. Here they have a whole section to the great George Foreman. It's more than just grills, baby. Guy was an Olympic and world champion boxer. Look at that trophy. Now what's funny about that grill is that that grill was not intended for him originally. You know who was supposed to be the spokesman for that grill and turned it down? Hulk Hogan. He decided that that probably wouldn't be as good of a business venture as much as doing a Hulkamania themed pasta restaurant. And so he went with that, while George Foreman had the same rep, I guess the same manager. And since Hulk Hogan turned it down, George Foreman was looking for something to represent, and he decided to go with it. Good idea, George. And I don't think he meant this about the grill. But what's cool is that George Foreman was boxing for a long time, long after people thought he should retire and that he was old and out of shape and everything. He still was out fighting and winning. Well, here we go, the Nolan Ryan exhibit. This is going to be great. Look at this quote. I've never heard a batter scream before, but I did that night. Nolan Ryan was not only an amazing pitcher, but he was a tough guy too. One of the most famous photos you can find of Nolan Ryan is when a player felt that maybe Nolan Ryan threw a pitch a little too close and charged the mound. And that famous photo is Nolan Ryan with him in a headlock, and there it is. That was a bad day for Robin Ventura that day. And then this photo, if I remember right, he took a line drive to the face and decided to continue to play the rest of the game. So here we have really the start of it all, the early career. He was a rookie with the New York Mets. If I'm not mistaken, it was 1969. There's his high school letterman's jacket from Alvin High School. And there's his New York Mets jersey. Nolan Ryan had 7 no-hitters as a Major League Baseball player, but here you can see he even threw a regional no-hitter when he was pitching for Alvin, 1968. Now here's Nolan Ryan's rookie card. It's going for now about $1,200 or $1,500, I believe. And I remember when I was a kid, this became a big controversy because there was a store that had this card, and I guess they had an employee working that didn't know the history of it and sold the card for like $12 and instead of $1,200, and they had to sue the kid to get it back. There's Nolan's baseball glove from when he was on the Mets. You can see the number 30. Here they're cataloging his first 3 no-hitters. He was a pitcher for the Angels during that time period. He ended up finishing up his career with the Texas Rangers and then eventually became the head of the Texas Rangers. So there we have a ball for his first no-hitter, 1973, where someone has put the date and the stats and everything from that game on there. Kind of faded now, but then here's his second no-hitter and the third. Anybody that does that many no-hitters, I'm going to show them all. Congrats on winning a World Series your very first year, Nolan. So this is kind of cool. They have 2 pieces from Nolan's history on display. The catcher's mask was his Astros catcher, his mask, and it's showing how Nolan's pitch bent the mask right there. And then this glove was from Nolan's first no-hitter. And here we have a signed Nolan Ryan cornflakes box. This might be the coolest right here. All the rings, all of his all-star rings and his championship rings. This one right here is his 1969 World Series championship ring. This one is his Hall of Fame ring. It's pretty cool. And then the rest of them are all all-star rings. So over here we have his Angels jersey and one of his Astros jerseys, and then recognition for 3 more no-hitters and his Rangers jersey. And there's the ball from no-hitter number 4 of 7, a record. There's his Astros batting helmet. And there's one of his baseball gloves from when he was on the Astros. So there's no-hitter number 5 against the Dodgers. And then no-hitter number 6 against Oakland. And then there was no-hitter number 7 against the Toronto Blue Jays. I believe he was in his 40s when he threw that one, if I'm not mistaken. And these are cleats from Nolan Ryan's last no-hitter, number 7. So here's a picture of Nolan Ryan and his wife Ruth, and apparently they grew up in the same small town, and Nolan was a little bit older than her and he was friends with her sister. And she said that one day when she noticed Nolan, she was a little bit younger, but he was in 7th grade, and she said that he rode by on a motor scooter, on the back of a motor scooter with someone, and as they passed her with her tennis racket, he yelled up to the driver, "Who's that girl?" And he told her her name, and she overheard it and said that stuck out in her mind. We have one more case of Nolan Ryan, including his boots. So I see here an Angels jersey. There's the back of one of his Astros jerseys. One of his awesome Nike promotional posters from back in the day that he signed. There's one of his Texas Rangers jerseys, as well as some number 34 cowboy boots with his name. 1966 to 1993 it says. Probably his playing career from the time he was in high school, I guess, maybe. And then his 300th win ball is right there. And then the ball from his very last game in 1993 against Seattle, where he left the game injured. Yeah, I'd say 5,000 strikeouts is nothing to scoff about. And since he was always known, and his pitch was always known as the Ryan Express, you can see his belt buckle here. Well, it's pretty sad that they closed down Nolan Ryan's actual museum in Arlington, but it's pretty cool that they incorporated it into such a big part here. So if you ever want to see it, Texas Sports Hall of Fame is the place to come. Now, we're not going to do a ton on this, but I thought since they had a whole Cotton Bowl exhibit, we should check it out. It's pretty cool. Look as you walk into the exhibit. I mean, that's just insane. They have mascot costumes from Baylor and University of Houston and University of Arkansas. Everybody that can participate in the Cotton Bowl. Look at that. Pretty cool. There's TCU. If you ever listen to Bill Burr, he always goes, "TCU, go Frogs!" The Wheaties Wall. How cool is that? Honoring those that have been on the cover and have been Breakfast of Champions. There's Nolan Ryan right there. Mary Lou Retton. Laura Wilkinson. Nolan Ryan. 3 of them for the Dallas Cowboys of the 90s. You got 92, 93, and 95. There's Emmitt Smith. That's a great one. Right here in the University of Houston display, they have some Carl Lewis stuff. It's kind of cool. Okay, here we go. Here's the Phi Slamma Jamma. I was hoping they'd have something. There's Clyde's jersey. Signed. Clyde the Glide Drexler. And then, of course, part of that amazing team was Akeem Olajuwon. Akeem the Dream. Right up there on the banner, you can see Phi Slamma Jamma and Clyde Drexler. This is kind of cool. I had to put this in because this is the display case for Rice. When I was a little kid, we went to a Reds game and a foul ball was hit into the dugout, and the nasty boy pitcher, Norm Charlton, right there, grabbed the ball, jumped up. We actually had gift tickets. We were front row with our drinks on the clubhouse. Norm Charlton jumped up and bounced the ball right off the top of the clubhouse to me. So I got an actual Major League Baseball from Norm Charlton right there. He was one of the nasty boys. That's kind of funny. Take a look at that Lou Holtz doll. He was the Razorbacks coach, not to mention a snappy dresser. But I think he most notably, at least in my lifetime, he was known for being the coach at Notre Dame when I was growing up. Well, I think we're going to call it a day here for the Texas Sports Hall of Fame. Well, my friends, I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Have a great night, everyone. I want to thank Bobby Vickers, Richard Bruner-Smith, Rhiannon Beswick, and Jonathan Crouch for making contributions to my channel. We'll see you all later. Have a great night and goodbye.